Hi, I'm Mike Worsham and I'm with RE/MAX, and the topic today is this a good time to buy a home? And what I did is in order to buy a home, you had to know what the value of that home is. And what we did is we reversed that role and we said, what is the value of your rent if you're renting? And how we did it is we assumed a person came in and was paying rent of $750 a month. And out of that rent, which we're converting to a home mortgage, there's expenses of the payment of taxes and insurance, etc. And that generally is about 20% of the total amount. And so the amount left to pay a mortgage is $600. And with that amount, we assume today's rate is like 4.25%. We assumed a 30-year loan at 4.25%. And your rent will actually pay for a mortgage or a house of $121,966. And that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, is this the right time to buy? You know, there's a lot of news media that's going out and saying, oh, we're not at the bottom of the market, and we don't know if we're going to be there for another year or 2 years. But let's just look at the effect of home prices declining a little bit. And today, believe it or not, the cost of owning a home is 50% less than it is in 2006. And the reason for this is the interest rates today are so historically low. They're at 4.25%. They're about 30% lower, maybe 35% lower than they were in 2006. The second thing is that home values now are 20 to 30% lower. And everywhere we see it, they're continuing to drop. And this may scare some, but when you consider the fact that you're buying today for 50% of the cost it was in 5 years ago, it's a huge, huge savings. Now, what if the properties today that you buy, let's just say you bought a property today, what if that property declined 10%? What would you end up effectively losing? Well, it's like $60 a month. Or if interest rates climbed, there's an inverse relationship. If interest rates climbed in this market, you would lose $36 worth of purchasing power. But other benefits when you're buying a home is that you get to stabilize expenses. There's forced savings. You build equity in your home, and you lower your taxes. And it's an action step to financial independence, because our real objective of this is not only buying a home, but paying off the mortgage on the home. So today is the right time to buy a home, because ownership is 50% less than 5 years ago. It's less than the rental cost is today. You have forced savings, you build equity, you pay less in taxes, and it's an action step. So I suggest you take action and just find a house with a mouse. I mean, one of the best places in the world to look is on the internet. And one source you can use is my website at RE/MAX.com. The key to that is not only can you look at all the houses in Nashville, you can look across the United States, you can look across the world, because RE/MAX is in like 67 countries. Another place for deals is foreclosures at NashvilleAreaHomes.com. It's a website I have, and it features foreclosed homes and bank-owned property. And the key to that is that you'll never have to pay a fee. Most foreclosure sites will give you free service for about a week, and then after that you have to pay a fee of like $20, $30 a month. Also, in the future, we're going to give you financial tidbits on how to improve your situation. Like if you're paying a mortgage, there's an amount of interest and principal you're paying every month. And we can show you how you can shortcut and avoid 2, 3, 4, 5 years worth of interest with a few $1,000s in payments. In fact, we recommend you take the action step of finding a house and move forward. We want you to contact Steve Gooden or your financial person that you use and get qualified and start looking. So after you find a house and when you get it contracted and everything works out for you, one of the key things is I would like for you to remember is the key to your financial independence is if you pay off that house. I mean, it's amazing how much money you can actually save with a home with no loan. So I'm going to turn this over to our John Watkins, who's a home inspector. We've had him on other programs with us, and I think you'll find his information valuable. And it's necessary if you're going to buy a home to have it inspected properly.
Hello everyone, my name is John Watkins and I'm the owner of Nashville Home Inspection. I've been inspecting homes in Middle Tennessee for 12 years. I like to say I've been providing peace of mind one home at a time since 1999. That's kind of catchy, isn't it? Yeah. I guess there's so many different aspects of a home inspection. There's no way we could cover them all here, but I guess what I'm going to go over is this, is that a home inspection is basically a visual assessment of the home, including its roofing, foundation, windows, siding, crawl space if there is one, heating, electrical, and plumbing. Contrary to what you see on HGTV, we don't tear walls open and look inside the walls. So there are things called latent defects that just cannot be discovered during a home inspection because it's inside a wall. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to walk around the outside of the home and we're going to look at things like the shingles. How old are they? Are they starting to curl? Are there missing shingles? Are they worn so bad that you start to see the fiberglass fibers? A lot of times you can see that shine from the road. We're going to walk around the house. If it's brick, we're going to look for cracks between the bricks, which are not nearly as serious most of the time as a crack that goes completely through the brick. Two different kinds of cracks. Most of the time cracks between the bricks aren't structural. But we're going to note those as well because they need to be addressed anyway. You get the cracks filled and slow bug traffic. If there's a crawl space, we're going to go in there and look for things like structural compromise, moisture. Moisture in crawl spaces is a pretty big issue in Middle Tennessee just because we get a lot of rain. We're also going to look for heating and air conditioning issues. A lot of times I'll go in a crawl space and find ducts that have been disconnected. And so you've been heating and cooling your crawl space for a year. Then we go inside, we're going to check all your major permanently installed appliances. I don't check washer and dryers. I don't check refrigerators. I check things that are attached. Reason being, I used to inspect washer and dryers and refrigerators, and I got a couple of calls and say, well, this refrigerator's not working, and this washer and dryer's not working. And on 2 occasions, I went back, and luckily I had a photograph of it, and the guy who sold the house had swapped them out. Once the home was inspected, was something that didn't work, and took them with me. So if it can be moved, I don't inspect it, just for that. Anyway, we're going to check all your major installed appliances. We're going to check your plumbing system, make sure you don't have any leaks under sinks, pretty common. Make sure you don't have any leaks at bathtub drains on the 2nd floor that can damage the drywall above. We're going to check your heating and air conditioning. We want to make sure that it's cooling properly. We want to make sure that it's heating properly. We're going to check the age of all those components because the typical lifespan of a water heater is 12 to 13 years. Typical lifespan of a heating and air conditioning system is about the same age, and they vary greatly depending on how much you pay for it, basically. But we're going to check all those, and so I can give you an idea. Well, listen, this heating and air conditioning system is 10 years old. It looks like it's been serviced regularly, so you ought to get a few more years out of it. Or this air conditioning system is 25 years old, and it's done. By some miracle it's working today, but it may not next week. And then what we do is we take digital photographs of any defects or deficiencies that we may find, and we put those in the report. And below each photograph will say what's going on in that photograph, and there'll be a drawing on that photograph pointing to exactly what I'm talking about. I know I probably should have been clicking, but I tend to just talk and not click. Hopefully, I know that was short, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what I do. And if you have any questions, I've got cards out here, and you can call me tonight, tomorrow, 10 years from now, and ask me a question. Even if you don't use me, you move to a home, you have a question, call me. If you're living in a home now and you have a question about something that you don't think is right, give me a call. I'll help you out. Any questions? Thank you so much.